be sure you go follow us all on Instagram. Go follow Joey at Cobalt15. That's COBALT15. Go follow Amber at Amber_S_Viola. That's AMBER_SVIOLA. Go follow Grayson at Grayson_Doodles. That's GRAYSON_DOODLES. And be sure you go follow me on Instagram at Westhacker0. That's WESTHACKER and the number 0. Before we begin, please note that this is a comedy podcast. Our opinions in this episode do not represent our actual views. Anything said in this episode should not be taken seriously. Do not take our advice for anything that is mentioned. This episode can get graphic and may make some listeners uncomfortable. Listener discretion is advised. In accordance with Corona guidelines, this episode was recorded remotely. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Caution Do Not Open. I'm back with the Newmont peeps. We have Amber.
Hello, nerds.
We got Adam.
I'm back again.
We got Jackson.
I never left.
We got Joey.
No.
We got Jamie. She's going to type something in chat. She says, hello. And we got Grayson.
Oh, yeah. What's up?
Oh, yeah. Today's topic, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about murder. So for this episode, I'm going to hand it off, and Amber is going to host this one. So, Amber, it's all yours.
Oh yeah, I am so ready for this one. You guys have no idea.
Okay, anyway.
No, shut up. Let me talk. I have the spotlight. It is my turn.
Okay.
Now, I've watched a lot of murder shows and played some different murder mystery games. Like, do not mess with me. I can take you on an instant. Not really, but I will. We have some hypothetical murder situations we'd like to talk about. And I'm going to start with, out of this chat, who would you kill and why?
Adam, easily.
Oh, me. Okay.
I
I
honestly
agree. Kill the weeb.
really
I agree. Kill the weeb.
It would be really hard, Adam.
Would it, though?
I would probably have to go with Jackson because I know him the least. Jackson, no hard feelings.
It's okay. I accept it.
Well, I don't know who to choose. All of you have.
Honestly, Adam would be the easiest to kill because he's always watching anime. Like, come on, guys.
Like, you could
Okay,
sneak up
but-
behind him during an emotional scene and just boom. There he is.
Exactly. Or like sneak some poison into his snacks or whatever.
Okay, let me explain to you why that wouldn't work. Okay, so first with the poison thing, I don't eat anything that's already opened unless I've eaten out of it. And usually when I've eaten out of it, it's usually like in my room or something. And also I probably wouldn't be the easiest to kill since I have done track and field, mostly field, and also wrestling as my background. So that'd be pretty difficult. And as well as to capture me during an emotional scene, my brother has tried to sneak up on me while that has happened, and I've seen him out of the corner of my eye in the dark. So it's kind of hard to kill me unless you like, I don't know.
I mean, here's the funniest part of that. Okay, she had to roll a dice because she's like, I don't know anyone here. So she rolled a D6. She got a 5, so she's choosing Adam as well.
Guys, I'm going to try and
You're fifth in the chat.
Adam, I'm going to try and save you here and get everybody to target me. Guys, remember, I keep noise-canceling headphones on my ears pretty much all day with music playing in them. I will not hear you.
You can't be the only one to claim that, though, because I constantly have headphones on as well.
Who said we only have to kill one person? I will kill all
just
of you.
wanted
That's
to,
the real
I just wanted to say Jackson because I know him the least. Jackson or Jamie, one of the two. The thing is, like, I think the best way of going about murdering anyone would be 2 routes, and that's to do it as discreetly as possible, i.e. make it look like an accident or something like that. Or 2, make such a ridiculous murder case that nobody would believe anybody who reported it.
I was also gonna say, like, making it look like someone else did it. I know Adam's seen it because I've showed it to him, but
Yes.
has anybody seen Erased, the anime? Not the live action. Live action's awful.
I have
don't know.
not. I'm not a weeb.
Right.
Well, you
Well,
should consider becoming one.
well, spoiler alert. It's one of my favorite animes of all time. But the villain who has done these serial kills has done it so well that it was nearly unsolvable. And he always planned it so that someone else was the target. Like, I learned from him how to kill people. Thank you.
Yeah, but I
That's-
found out who it was on the first episode.
Well, you can shut up. And also, the police didn't know, and this was 2006. So
I see. They didn't have the anime experience that I did.
yeah, it was still one of my first animes that I watched, and I did not.
I don't want to like draw attention to myself, but I really want to entertain the idea of the most ridiculous murder or most unbelievable murder.
Okay,
You
what would be the most ridiculous in your case?
I would say something along the lines of number one, ridiculous murder weapon. So I'm thinking,
Shoehorn.
no, shoehorns are like, you could still kill someone with a shoehorn. I want something that seems like it would be kind of too difficult to kill someone with. I'm thinking large fiberglass cow.
See,
What?
What the
Well,
what?
Jamie just said a spatula, but
Billboard, billboard
Spatula?
maybe.
No,
I'm just
you
thinking
can
like
go-
someone you could kill someone with a billboard, but like, imagine how ridiculous it would be if someone reported it and they're like, yo, this guy in a gorilla costume was sawing away at a billboard and it fell on top of someone, and then he dragged the billboard away to get rid of the evidence. The police station would be like, okay, crazy person,
Crazy
Yeah,
crazy
person.
person.
Like it was
No need to pursue this case. He's
no,
whack
no,
job.
not a gorilla costume, a inflatable T-Rex costume.
Yeah. Well,
Make it all the better.
face in it.
giant,
Like a
wacky,
face
wavy,
window.
inflatable tube man.
See, okay,
Put a body in inflatable tube.
my brain also immediately went to a certain case. If you guys know the Danganronpa series, in
Mm.
the third
Oh, no.
game, Trial 4, spoiler alert, the murder weapon was toilet paper.
Really?
Yeah,
That would be a little
It was
crazy.
paper, and the person who got killed was strangled to death.
Oh my. That's some strong toilet paper.
I feel like a candy bar. I feel like just like shoving a candy bar in somebody's throat and then they just like suffocate. Because it would just look like they were an idiot while eating the candy bar.
I mean,
Mm,
yeah.
there'd be fingerprints all over the person's body. But also there's gonna be bruises and like pressure points and everything.
Who said it's going to be forced?
Oh,
You could have the reasonable like doubt of the whole, oh, I gave this to them and they choked and died.
Exactly.
And I
There's
couldn't
not
use-
there's not to prove with that beyond a reasonable doubt.
I don't think
How
anyone
can you
did it like
how can you force someone to choke on something? You know, because like force feeding them, forensics are a lot better than people think. You know, it's weird. There's an entire branch of forensics based on recreating blood splatters so they can see the angle at which someone was attacked with a knife. You know?
Yeah,
like
but
there's the
yeah,
tiniest
that was,
little
like,
things.
like that's why I'm saying do something that's not going to leave blood or fingerprints or anything. You know, like getting them to eat something and they'll choke on it.
Well, I mean that'd be kind of hard to since you gotta get up close and personal and try to hold them down. You gotta force it down the throat, but you gotta hold it down. It's probably gonna leave some sort of imprint on their
it's
body.
just going to be a mess.
That too. The spit and everything going everywhere.
Yeah, it's just not going to be anything that's clean or whatnot. Good question from Jamie. How would you hide the body, though? Going back to our billboard thing, how would you hide the body?
Probably go the route of dissolving them or something.
Dissolving them.
Yeah, strong bases are a lot better at dissolving flesh than strong acids are. You can buy lye off the counter. A lot of people do for soap making, actually. And so, dissolve a body with lye, neutralize the base with an acid, and then pour it down the drain.
See, if we're doing the whole billboard route though, like, Jamie, no personal questions.
Jamie, no personal questions.
And
We don't talk about it.
we don't talk about if we've killed someone before, but that's not what we're talking
The
about.
feds are coming
Just like-
after us. This episode is now cursed.
I was going to say with the billboard thing, if it's like on a side of the highway where billboards are normally at, like too many witnesses.
You'd have to do it on
You're
one
in
of
a
those
gorilla
back
costume. You're
roads.
fine.
No, T-Rex costume, but yes, okay. You're right. You're right.
Just make a murder weapon. I'm thinking something comically large and unrealistic.
Oh my, Grayson!
What?
If you say a spoon, I swear.
Oh,
I'm not thinking comically large spoon. I was thinking taxidermied animal. If you bludgeon someone over the head with that wearing an inflatable T-Rex costume, it'd be pretty unbelievable.
Well, we're gonna jump topics here for a second too, because let's keep things moving. What would be the most horrific way to kill someone?
Probably I'd say skinning someone and let them bleed out. Did you know that if you're here's fun fact. If you were to skin someone, which I have not, for the record, I'm not like a murderer or anything. I'm just talking
That's
like
what a murderer would say.
if you wanted to keep someone alive after you skinned them, you would have to keep them in a warm room, because without your skin, you'd die really fast of hyperthermia or hypothermia.
I'd say
he does have a point.
I'd say just keep giving them hope.
alive.
Just keep giving them hope.
Let me explain.
Oh,
I too have watched Danganronpa, and I just kept getting
Your wife
hope,
is
and then
dead.
despair kept coming. So what you do is you strap them to a chair. You have them call their friend, have them try to save them. You quote unquote go out to do something, and you have like their friend almost save them, and then just kill their friend right in front of them. And it's like, oh, okay. Here, call another friend, and then you
So
repeat.
you are implying that you would the worst way to kill someone would be to mentally kill them first, kill their
Yes.
hopes, kill their hopes and dreams, and then kill them physically.
Oh,
And then
kind of like that.
They will fall into despair.
I
Oh,
like
God.
that. Here, let me add on to that. Do that, but then once you've gotten to the point where they've lost all hope, just start slowly severing each limb, fingers included, or as separate limbs, until
That's pretty horrible.
Yeah,
Yikes.
exactly. They have no hope, and now you slowly dismember them, like one member a day.
Branching off of atoms in order to kind of also go the route of most legal murder, I'd say, is like it's indirect, of course, because most.
I was gonna step back and talk about my gruesome way first. I was gonna say though too, for gruesome way, I joked about this among personal friends when I was playing this visual novel murder game, and there was this character named Sue, and I hate him with a passion. And I joked about, because I misread his name the first time as Soup instead of SOU. Sue?
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah, it kind of is. I kept saying, because I hated him with a passion, that I would gouge out his eyeballs and feed them to him in a bowl of soup of his own blood, because I was very upset with this character. So,
Oh.
fun
I
fact.
see.
Yeah,
I
but
know,
have
I'm
him
very
go
edgy.
into despair first.
He already was in despair. He was sprinting.
Makoto Naegi on the sea.
Tell him, Naegi.
Tell him that.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I'm totally sane. I promise.
Oh yeah, we can tell. We can tell.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yes. Me sane. Yes.
I also think routes that involve letting someone like bleed out, but like keeping them conscious during the whole thing is also a pretty bad way of going about it, like gruesome way of going about it. Because first of all, if someone's bleeding out, that's a lot of blood. Second of all, if they're like conscious during the entire thing, like that's a mental toll. Like you're not fading away. A lot of the time, you know how there's a lot of gruesome medieval execution methods?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those involved like hanging people upside down while they were doing it in order to keep the person conscious for as long as possible, because even after the like heart or their pulse got weaker, gravity would assist getting oxygenated blood to the brain in order to keep them conscious during the majority of it. Something to think about.
That's fun to know.
Okay.
So what we've learned so far is that don't get on Grayson's bad side because he knows way too many ways to torture and kill us.
Exactly.
He does. I'm a little scared.
You really shouldn't. It was just like random rabbit holes, you know? It happens.
Sure.
You know what?
I'd say the same thing too.
I trust you, Grayson. I believe you because I've done that exact same thing with things before. Just go down the wrong rabbit hole.
Too many YouTube videos at 3 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
I prefer
Go to
4 a.m.
sleep.
That's just me.
That is legitimately like true. Like yesterday, I watched YouTube videos all about like what happened to this boy who ate 150 gummy vitamins in one sitting.
Died.
Actually, he
Yeah.
survived.
Oh,
I guess that's another one is like you could always go the slow route on killing someone of killing someone with food, not even poisoning them, just feeding them really unhealthily until they die of like colon cancer or something.
I mean, if you want to go that route, you could also just get somebody like addicted to like something like heroin or cocaine until they overdosed.
Well, no, because that's if you're getting them addicted, I'm assuming that you're also providing that or providing it at some point, which means that you have dirt on you now. I was just saying, like, if you want to get someone addicted to something deadly, you could always just do cigarettes, right? That's legal because $10.
But that would take forever.
Yeah,
It'll
but
take like 50 years, but you know.
getting someone to die of colon cancer is also like a really slow way of going about it.
Clearly, the way is giving them COVID, as we talked about last episode.
Give them COVID. That's a viable option.
You could like tie someone up in a car in a garage and then leave the car running, and then just like when it's all done, you just untie them and have it and say he committed suicide when you came home.
Or like,
But you don't want
like-
to tie it too tight.
or like the furnace, like their furnace or whatever, like make it so that the carbon dioxide is no longer filtered.
If you were gonna go with like carbon dioxide, I wouldn't even tie somebody up in a garage in a car. I would just figure out a way to pump a bunch into their house while they're in there at night.
Yeah, like there was a family that I knew when I was younger who basically they had all died in their sleep because there was a carbon monoxide leak in their house, and the police and like fire department had to come in with a whole bunch of fans to clear it out before they could even go in and check on the bodies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't want to put myself in that situation to have to go in and untie somebody. Just do it overnight.
Yeah, like man.
Well, yeah, I meant like when it's all over.
Yeah, but that stuff can stick around and, you know, for a long time unless you have the right equipment and you know what you're doing. I wouldn't want to deal with learning all of that and getting the equipment. I'd say, hey, just put it in and I'm done, you know?
Well, you just need to make some gas masks. Just make some gas masks. Watch Dr. Stone, dude.
Just do like your just go classic method. You know, classic method of murdering people.
Stabby
lynching.
Stab?
I was thinking lynch. That's a pretty gruesome kind of body, I bet.
French Revolution, let's go!
Mustard gas, period, end of story. Chlorine gas, that's it. You can make it from stuff in the chemical storage at the pool, by the way.
That's true.
Yeah.
You can just do tear gas if you have enough of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you could get somebody in, like, let's say, like, the pump room at a pool where you've already started mixing stuff together to make mustard
in that
gas.
case, you might as well throw them in the surge tank and just call it good.
Or if you want a more explosive death,
I don't. That reminds me. I don't know what it was, but my uncle, before he passed away, told me the story about when he was a kid. One of his friend's dads was a chemist, so he had a bunch of chemicals and metals and stuff in his garage, and they had a pool. Him and his friend grabbed like a big like metal, whatever, some reactive metal that his friend's dad had, and they threw it in the water, not realizing that it was reactive with water and would blow up in contact with water.
My guess is sodium.
I don't know what it was. He never told me what it was, but I just think that's an option. If they're in a pool, just throw a bunch of that in, it's just gonna boom.
Well, yeah, but
just a little sodium chloride.
How cover-upable is that?
I mean, at that point, like, is there really any evidence? Because like everything's been just obliterated from the explosion.
Again, forensics is a lot better than most people think it is. Sodium, when it reacts with water and stuff, has some other trace things in it that it leaves behind. So you could tell the explosion was caused by sodium. I guess you could always just like get a trebuchet and lob a brick of it into a pool from like 7 miles away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like it may leave traces, but if they can't connect that back to me, it doesn't really matter if they can find traces of it anywhere, because they still need to connect it back to me somehow.
Speaking of traces, I remember seeing a post, I can't remember when. It essentially said that if you want to get rid of a body quick, you just put it in like a pig pen, like their food or whatever it's called, and they will eat it.
Okay,
I definitely heard that one before.
Hypothetical murder. What is the smallest budget you think you could have to have like a murder you could get away with?
$0. I think somebody could pay me and I'd be able to get away with it without spending anything. I think I could make money without spending anything.
No. I'm saying this is not stuff that you can like grab from your house. I'm saying nothing in your pockets. How much money would it take? Like if you have to buy a shovel, how much money does it take you to get away with
Who
murder?
said I had to buy it? Who said I couldn't go dumpster diving?
Well, I'm not saying that you can't, but I'm also saying like
Yeah, I mean, I think
for the
however much a
hypothetical.
shovel costs. However much a shovel costs, however much a tool like that costs, I don't think it would be expensive.
What is the price of murder that you can get away with?
I think $100 is
I'm
like
not-
minimum 100. If you have nothing
Go a
in your
lot more there, bud. You're gonna need like at least like $5,000 to commit a murder. Not need, but I'd say like someone would have to pay me like $5,000 at least, because you're gonna need like hazard pay, commission to like do it, and it's like all the troubles with it, and it's like I'd say it's gonna be a fair amount.
And you see, the thing is, he's asking like, how much would I need if I had nothing in my pockets and I was just gonna go do it and get away with it? I don't think it takes that much. Like, having that much money will make my chances of getting away with it higher. But I think with enough brain power and like $100, $200, you could also get away with it.
Well,
Exactly.
even then, like you could have, like 100 to 200, like you said, because like you could just go to Yellowstone, kill someone, and leave their body to the wolves and walk away.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
You very well could.
$25 in a Walmart bag.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, like $25 in a Walmart bag.
Yeah, like suffocate them.
Why
Yeah,
don't
just
we
like
do what Grayson said, just dissolve them?
well, because like
that costs money.
let me see how much lye costs.
Why is
Who
it
knows?
expensive?
He's going to go add it up.
He's gonna actually go plan this out. Give him a second.
I'm scared.
Oh, I'm scared. This is going to
The
be...
government's gonna be watching my search history and wondering if I'm okay.
The FBI is going to listen to this episode
Yeah,
and be like, what?
Be like,
We're
okay,
gonna
there's
put
a
on
whole
watch.
bunch of there's a whole bunch of kids like 17 to 19 here. Like, we gotta
And we're
Check.
planning murders.
Check.
This is not... This is
Yeah,
great
but-
content.
not.
Okay.
For
Yeah,
anyone
we're not
watching
gonna
this,
make
we don't
apologize.
condone murder.
No.
It's
You
just
could get
hypothetical.
you could
do
get
not
a
murder
decent
this hypothetical. Thank you.
you could get a decent amount of lye for pretty cheap because lye is also drain cleaner. Yeah.
Oh,
So
If you are planning anything, please delete this podcast from your search history.
yeah, please don't.
We are not
trace it back.
liable.
we're not legally obliged.
We are not legally liable for anything that comes from this podcast.
Yes, we're not responsible for your choices. Thank you. Goodbye.
Once again, This is a comedy podcast.
If we want to go the route of comedy, let's entertain the idea of most ridiculous murder to pull off.
Okay.
T-Rex.
How
How
Get over this.
incredibly
Insane.
ridiculous could you make it?
You have to wear a
Unicorn.
clown. Okay, have you played the game Hitman? Because there's a costume that's like you are literally dressed up as a clown and you have to kill people with like a fish.
Okay, I was gonna say with the clown thing, we're
Oh
not
no,
going back
not
to
a fish, a
2016.
muffin. You have to kill people with
What?
This sounds like Pink Simulator with extra steps.
Yeah, what?
the challenge was actually made by a guy named RT. RT Games. I love him. He's hilarious.
That name sounds.
But
I was gonna
he played the
say-
game and he would just grab a muffin and just hit people in the back of the head and then just snap their necks.
Custom-made Magic the
Nice.
Gathering card that has
Um,
sharpened corners, and you learn how to throw it.
Most ineffective murder weapon.
The same exact thing I
Spoon.
just said. Sharpened, custom-made Magic the Gathering card that you know how to throw.
Back end of a spoon.
Did we not see that guy
I've seen
getting hit
it.
with a spoon for
Listen,
an hour and
Adam.
dying?
The deal is like with spoons, like you can't maybe plastic spoon, but like metal spoons are banned from prisons because
They
like-
can be used to dig through the floors.
it's too easy to kill someone with a spoon.
And to get
Okay, how about
after
this? How about a
genocide.
flower?
A flower.
Not multiple, just one.
A
Okay.
Rubik's Cube.
Just
A
one.
Rubik's Cube.
Asphyxiation.
Well, if you have a rose, I mean.
Some flowers you can't consume without dying.
Question: do you have external tools to use? Can you make the cause of death be this thing while also having external tools? Because you can turn paper into a pretty effective thing. You can cut through wood with a piece of paper if you attach it to a Dremel.
Right.
Is all I'm saying.
I've-
A rotating disc of paper is effective and effective. So I'm saying, if I can surgically implant a piece of a flower into someone and make them die of sepsis, that's a lot easier than trying to whack them over the heads with the head of a sunflower. You know?
So you're saying
Right.
surgery is a lot easier than. Okay.
I'm saying, is it just me, a flower, and the other person, or can I apply external tools to this? Also, what kind of flower is this? Because you can't poison someone with a dandelion.
I was just about to say dandelion.
Okay, dandelion it is.
Dandelion.
If I'm allowed to do surgery, implant a dandelion into them and have them die of sepsis.
See, I'm thinking more of just the thing.
You see, I'm thinking this. A beanbag, and that's it.
What?
You can kill you can
Easy.
smother someone with a beanbag.
Easy.
That's not bad.
Beanbag, easy weapon. I don't know if how much that counts. Well, never mind. I'm trying to work out logistics here because you could say a piece of paper and I could be like, oh yeah, wrap it around my knuckles and then bludgeon them to death with my fists. But that's bludgeoning them to death with my fists, not killing them with a piece of paper, you know?
Right.
So
Wait, I got
what's-
it. How about a single spider web?
One
No,
single spider
I-
web.
If surgery's allowed, implant it into them, make them die of sepsis.
Surgery is not allowed. No external. Grayson, you can literally go on that for hours, and anything injected into you.
What kind of
instead vaccines,
kind of
you
spider
would
web?
die.
What kind of spider web?
Just a plain old, what kind of spiders produce webs?
Most spiders.
Or
Um,
weavers. Or weavers.
My brain, for skipping away from spiders, because I prefer not to talk about spiders, is despise them. Could you viably kill someone with paper cuts?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's too
Infection.
hard.
Yeah.
Again, give them a bad enough paper cut, rub some dirt, and make them die of sepsis.
Exactly, yeah. Infection or something,
Sepsis.
yeah.
What's up with you and sepsis, Grayson?
An easy way to
Again,
kill
meltdown.
someone.
He has a plan and he wants us to accept that plan.
Again, melt down
I
paper
don't-
into a liquid,
don't
put it in
wanna-
a syringe, have them die of sepsis. Like
I
Grayson,
wanna-
you gotta
Glass-
calm down.
I don't
Cleaner?
want
Oh
to accept it
my.
because he's gonna kill one of us by giving us sepsis or whatever.
Guys,
I'm not going to give people sepsis. All sepsis usually is like an infected wound. Sometimes it's like a bowel puncture and all of your gut bacteria gets into your bloodstream, and that's not good. But all it really is just a lot of bacteria in your bloodstream. So any wound that you can create with something and then have it get infected is like a pretty decent way of going about killing someone.
Yeah, no, it is. Or getting somebody to somehow managing to give somebody a heart attack is also a pretty good method if there's nobody that knows how to perform CPR or anything on that person.
But how
I
would
feel
you,
like I've seen something like that before, though.
We took a break right after this. Joey managed to fix his audio so it's a lot clearer, and we moved on to actual murder cases.
Yes, we get the fun stuff now. Ooh.
Woot!
You guys are so busy.
Everyone
Thank
sounds
you.
so excited.
Sorry,
Woo!
I have a little bit of a
Real
headache.
murder.
Yeah, thank you for being so supportive of my passion. This is a case that actually is about 3.5 hours away from me. So
oh,
we vibing.
dun dun dun.
So this is fun.
Woo!
I don't know how many people have heard about this. I've heard about it a lot because obviously I'm fairly close to it. But it's a case about these two missing kids, and it wasn't until a few months ago that they were found dead. Let's get started, shall we?
Indeed, yes.
Yes. And speaking of podcasting, the two culprits were in a podcast. Whee!
Oh!
Wow, they appeared on a podcast called Time to Warrior Up. Wow.
Whoa.
No shade to them. It was like 2018 that they were in it, but like, that's fun. Fun fact.
Ooh, okay.
In other words,
Okay.
how can we get away with this case?
How could you get away with this case?
All right. Okay.
So pretty much how to be the horrible person, but not for our own situation.
Yes, what would you do
Yes.
differently?
This case started in about September of 2019, or at least the major events. There was this lady named Lori Vallow. I can't say anything. Lori. Yeah, she moved to Rexburg, Idaho with her two kids, JJ and Tylee. And these kids, blah, blah, normal stuff. But Tylee went missing first because they took a vacation to Yellowstone and Tylee wasn't seen again. So, some of the neighbors are kind of paranoid. Then, a few weeks later, they have JJ, the 8-year-old son. By the way, Tylee's 16 or 17 at this time. And he goes missing too. Normally, and the last time he was seen playing outside with his neighbors. So the CPS show up and it was like, hey, show us where your kids are. And she's like, oh, they're with a family friend back in Arizona before we moved. So they go check on Arizona, not there. They go back. Lori's dipped. She's gone.
Ooh.
So now they're playing Chase the Woman and trying to find where she went and to find these kids. But they obviously haven't found them. The grandparents of the kids are getting involved, being like, we will produce a reward for anybody who finds them. We're worried. Blah, blah, blah. All the fun stuff. In about March of 2020, they find Lori with her boyfriend. I can't remember if boyfriend or married at this point, but they arrest her in Florida and take her back to Idaho. And they say, show us the kids. And she's like, I don't have them. So she's arrested and in jail. And Chad, her boyfriend, is also involved with this case now.
Sorry,
Yes,
it's just
his
the name
name is
Chad.
I know. Yes, his name is
I
Chad.
love that name.
Plot twist. Apparently, he's part of a cult of some sort. So let's have fun
Okay.
with that.
That
0 to 100
escalated.
real quick.
Well,
Moral of the story: don't have your children play with the neighbors. It's the last time they'll be seen.
Yeah.
And they might join a cult in process.
Chad, he was part of a cult, and a lot of his followers would go missing after being with them for X amount of months, but they couldn't trace it back anywhere. So that's fun. And his dead wife now was also involved in this. Essentially, we're gonna jump ahead to June 2020 when the police got a warrant to search Chad's house. They start digging up in the backyard where they find remains of what appears to be 2 children.
Oh no.
So this is fun, and now up to date currently is that the judge is that their case is going to be happening either today or tomorrow. So the actual case.
Ooh.
Woo! Woo!
Recent events. Those are fun.
Yeah, we love recent events.
So
I
they
was
just found the bodies on where did they
late
find
last
them?
month. Wow, in the backyard of the boyfriend's house.
Oh, there's his first problem. Why would you put it on your own property?
At least put it on the neighbors.
Yeah.
Frame them for it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, that would probably be one of the best ways to do it. Because if you blame your neighbor, nobody's going to expect your next door neighbor to be blamed by your next door neighbor.
Neighbor to neighbor.
Like a good neighbor.
My bones are in your backyard.
Like a good neighbor, bodies are there.
Well, that's a good neighbor.
I mean, he right though. Why would he join a cult?
Don't lie to CPS.
What
Just go-
cult?
Yeah, like
I'm
what?
not
cult?
entirely sure, but he claimed it was part of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints when it's not. He would do bad things, which are not part of the church. But and he had people following him like crazy, and it was not good.
I think I definitely think that well, instead of lying to CPS when they came over, they should have just invited them in, sat them down for Kool-Aid, had them drink the Kool-Aid.
And then buried them in the backyard.
Neighbor's backyard.
You know what's the best way to hide a body if you're burying it? Bury the body 6 feet and then bury a dead animal, like I said, a dog, 3 feet down. So when someone asks about the dig spot, you'll just say, "Oh, I buried my dog," and if they go to dig check, there's a dead dog.
Here's the thought: what if you go 9 feet down, put a dog, go 6 feet, put a human, go 3 feet, put a human, or put a dog, and then put dogs all around the human to completely encompass it?
I feel like that's too much price. That's too expensive.
Dogs. It's too many dogs.
Too many
dogs.
Too many
dogs.
Too many dogs.
Unless you're someone who owns a crap ton of dogs.
I say
implying that you killed a lot of dogs too.
Or just implies that a lot of them have died naturally and you've kept their bodies frozen in imperfect condition for a long time, which isn't much better.
I would say do the classic tie the body's legs to some cinder blocks and throw them in a lake.
That's what I say, but people always say no, that's a bad idea. I don't remember the reasoning, but
oh, by the way, fun murder fact: if you're going to throw a body in the lake, you gotta stab it a whole bunch, so then gases don't build up in it, so it doesn't float to the surface.
Fun murder facts with Grayson.
Yeah.
Facts. I'm not experienced, I swear.
Yet.
You just have to put a bunch of legal disclaimers because of Grayson and only Grayson.
Yeah, exactly.
I was
gonna say a fun fact with this whole case as well, because on June 9th they found the remains. I was actually in summer school at the time, and I was done with my work. It was just waiting for the teachers to be like, "Hey, you're done." We were watching the live stream of the guy in the helicopter watching the police dig up all the bodies. So that was fun. I got to see from a video them getting these bodies out.
And that's where it all started.
What do you mean it all started? This has been. I've had an obsession with murder for years, and I've not killed anybody. Disclaimer: please don't come after me. I'm not going back to jail. Thank you.
Back to jail.
Funny comedy. Teeth don't burn.
I mean, they're
kind of
bones.
No, but the bones burn if it's hot enough. Teeth are solid calcium phosphate, you know?
So I need to rip out the teeth of the body and put it in my tooth box, is what I'm hearing.
Tooth box. No, don't put it in your tooth box.
You know it should be teeth paste, and you know it.
Teeth
Teeth paste.
Teeth paste.
I'm not brushing one tooth with this. Okay, what if it was called toothpaste?
How did we get here?
Oh my god.
Well, I said teeth don't burn because they don't.
Oh my word. How did we get from murder to teeth paste?
I don't know. I am Confucian.
Why is it called
explain?
Toothpaste and not toothpaste? America, explain.
Why is multiple moose still moose and not meese?
You have anything else on this case, Amber?
Not particularly.
Okay. Let's talk about... I have a guy. His name was John Wayne Gacy. Okay. He lived from 1942 to 1994. He was an American serial killer and rapist who took the lives of at least 33 young males in Cook County, Illinois, burying most of them under his house.
Here's your problem.
Under your house.
That's your problem.
Not your neighbors.
That's where a lot of these problems stem from. You didn't get your neighbor's info or anything. You didn't put it in your neighbor's lawn. That's the problem.
All right, murder case solved.
Put the bodies at your
Somewhere
neighbor's house.
Else. Wow. Yeah.
You said the killer clown? What?
Don't worry. We're going to get into it. Okay.
Wait, could you maybe get away with like doing a weather balloon or something and tying the body to the weather balloon and having it just like float up and then like pop somewhere in the atmosphere and then fall down somewhere in the middle of nowhere? I feel like that might be more effective for getting rid of evidence.
I feel like the problem with that is you don't really have any control over where it's going to pop and the body's going to end up landing. So it could just end up landing in like a city or a town as well. And it's
but like nobody
wouldn't know
knows
it's you.
where it comes from. It's like there's a lot less to go off of on that.
But
And if it's like
if you
in a
think about
big
it this
city,
way,
it can just be suicide, you know? Jump off a building.
They would be like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy, he jumped off a building and now he's dead.
yeah, but I mean, if it's like in a residential neighborhood where there's no tall buildings, you know, like, and then and when they take it to the medical examiner, they're gonna figure out who it is, and then when the missing persons comes out, they'll be like, oh yeah, that body was found, and then you know,
Okay, same concept, a little bit more control. Launch them out of a trebuchet.
yeah, I think if you had more control and you could make sure that they did land in like a remote like spot where people aren't gonna look, I think it would be a good idea. I just think it needs to be more control. Because I mean, if you think about it, people who always get away for the longest amount of time are always the people who put them in like forests and like wooded and like wilderness spots where nobody would guess, you know?
Yeah. See, I'd say the easiest way to get rid of a body, well, it's kind of hard. It's hard because it's hard to really get the equipment. But like, I would say like tree shredder.
You could also, like, if you committed the murder at like a slaughterhouse, well, then
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, here's a fun fact. I think this was a thing. Apparently, human carcasses, when skinned the right way and stuff, look very similar to pig carcasses.
Yeah, so you could.
Yeah, but that takes
100%
work to skin it.
Slaughterhouse method. Yeah, I was thinking like, why not get the victim to help you complete the murder case? You know, before you murder them, hold them at gunpoint, have them write a note to the fam saying like, hey, I went camping. Bam, put the body in a bear cave. Done.
Problem solved, yeah.
I mean, there was a fictional case where they had one of the victims helped murder the first victim, and then the mastermind killed him off as well, and almost got away with it, but she slipped up by saying a certain phrase, and
I did it.
Yeah.
It
no,
was me.
no,
I'm
she
the
said, "Oh,
murderer."
she was like, "Oh, I'm so sad that they're both dead." When the witnesses did not tell her about the second death.
Hire someone to take the blame for you. Make them walk into the police station. Go, I'm the murderer, and then that's it. You're done.
I don't think anyone would really do that. I think unless I feel you could probably get a guy to like do it for you, like do the murder for you, but I don't think you can get someone to just take the blame for you.
With that
I mean,
attitude,
there's ways you could. There's ways to make somebody.
Grayson, did you just say not with that attitude?
yeah. Yes,
I mean,
I
I
totally
guess you're
missed
right, though.
that.
I missed that as well.
Like I don't
My
think
goodness.
I don't think you can make someone do that. So I responded with not with that attitude, Not with that attitude, you're not. The right one though, you can totally get someone to do it.
I mean, he's not wrong, but now I'm
Yeah.
scared.
I mean, you could do one of those fake fake kidnappings, and then you could tell him he could either pay you $5 million or he could go take the blame.
$1, anybody. $1, any takers. One smackaroo. One schmeckel.
A schmeckel.
I believe that was Irish currency. I'd have to.
I don't know. I just remember it from Rick and Morty.
Of course, we have an intellectual here who watches Rick and Morty.
True intellectual.
Oh, schmeckles. Yeah, schmeckles are a form of currency in Rick and Morty.
Okay,
Oh, shekels. That's what I was thinking of.
you were close.
Shekels are a currency.
Okay, so Gacy was born 1942 in Chicago. Fun. He had an alcoholic father who would beat the children with a razor strap if they were perceived to have misbehaved. And he physically assaulted his mom as well.
Ah, the drunk dip.
Fun.
Yeah,
Very
so
fun trope.
he also suffered further alienation at school because he couldn't play with the other children due to a congenital heart condition that was looked upon by his father as another failing. So yeah, basically he couldn't do anything to please his dad, to say. His dad, there was nothing that could please him, okay? In his later years, he was a member of the Chicago area Jolly Joker Clown Club and frequently performed in clown attire and makeup at children's parties, charity fundraisers, and other events. I don't know why clowns were apparently such a cool thing back then. They've always creeped me out. I've never liked clowns.
Clowns will
This
never be
this
cool.
just sounds like the plot to the plot to Joker with extra steps.
Yeah.
Well, the killer clown would sometimes lure his victims with the promise of construction work or some other ruse, then captured, sexually assaulted, tortured, and eventually strangled most of them with his hands or with rope. And in years later, during a conversation with detectives while he was under surveillance, he discussed his clown work, remarking, "Clowns can get away with murder." Apparently he didn't, because he
What's your problem? Why are you telling the police that clowns can get away with murder and that you're a clown?
Mhm.
Exactly.
There was a bunch of different cases of sexual assault. 1968, he was convicted of sexually assaulting 2 teen boys, given a 10-year prison sentence. He was released on parole 2 years later, but was arrested again in 1971 after another teen accused him of sexual assault, but those charges were dropped when the kid didn't appear at trial. Middle of the 1970s. Yeah, trust me. Middle of the 1970s.
Okay, so, let's back up. The charges got dropped because the kid refused to show up for trial?
He just didn't show up to trial, so they were like, well, there's no grounds for any conviction, just drop it all.
Oh my goodness, the law back then.
The law.
We're
Okay,
the
the law-
USA.
the law
We have
now.
the best law.
Law is also not very good now either, but
Yeah,
A bit better, but
still a mess.
the law.
Mid 1970s, two more young males accused Gacy of rape, and he would be questioned by police about the disappearances of the other two. He referred to this period of his life as cruising years when he committed most of his murders. What a weirdo. December 11th, 1968.
Cruising for bruising.
Cruising for a hard bruising. December 11th, 1978, 15-year-old Robert, I can't say his last name, he went missing. He was reported to the police. That is, he was last seen by his mother at a drugstore where he worked before he headed out to meet Gacy about a potential construction job. 10 days later, police search of Gacy's house uncovered evidence of his involvement in so many different crimes, including murder, and was later discovered that he had committed his first known killing in 1972 when he killed 16-year-old Timothy McCoy after luring him to his home. Eventually, after a whole bunch of surveillance and investigation, he confessed to killing about 30 people.
Wow.
Oh.
Oh yeah, he's doing great. Okay, when they uncovered human remains at his house in 1978, 8 bodies could not be identified.
Oh.
I just gotta say something, right?
Okay.
That he lured people away with the promise of construction work. And I'm just wondering, like, who's really the stupid person here? Who's taking on construction work right now?
Especially in the 1970s in Illinois.
I suppose so. I suppose so. But I mean, I've done a lot of construction work, and I just gotta say, not pleasant. Would not recommend.
Mm-mm.
No, I don't, and I don't think he was probably targeting like the people who wouldn't take it. You know, he was definitely targeting the people who would be the ones needing that job.
Yeah,
Well,
and I think that's
also-
what most people do is because the pay is competitive and it's like, oh, this is a good job. And then, well, it ended up being a ruse.
And there,
Here's
and
the other
there
thing,
is
though.
growth potential in the job as well.
Who's
That's
taking
true.
construction work from a clown?
I don't know.
Well,
I
he was.
don't think he'd approach you dressed as a clown because I'd be concerned and run away.
I'd be like, I'm out.
like,
Bye.
yeah, like being a clown was his job, so he could have a living, and then he would offer people this job that didn't exist and didn't tell him he was a clown.
New trend. New trend. Let's start a new trend. Walk up to any and all clowns you see or people acting like clowns and ask them for construction work.
Done.
Grayson, do you want construction work?
Starting
Oh,
a new
fair enough.
trend, viral videos.
A new TikTok movement.
New TikTok craze. It's all good. Asking a clown for construction work because that is 100% going to end well.
Just
You know,
start
if
not
killer
even
clowns
asking
start up again,
clowns.
like walk up to them, be like, "Hey, you got any construction work?" That's all it
Hey,
is.
Grayson, you got any construction work?
Already responded to this, but fair.
Hey,
Okay.
look,
For those
clown.
of you who don't know, I'm also the sponsor of this episode.
Not again.
Any clowns? If you need any clowns in your area, invited to your birthday parties, please contact me. You can DM me over Instagram, which, if you don't know it, I'm not saying it right now. You have to watch episode 1.
There you go.
Uh,
Actually, it's episode. Yeah, first part of this episode. You have to go watch that. I plug everyone's social medias that wanted it.
Also, don't forget, if you need construction work, the clown can do it as well.
Be a clown construction work, but yeah. Pretty
Well,
close.
you could have the clown construction company where they come and do the construction dressed in clown suits during parties.
That just seems like something that you do to like. I
Seems like
don't
forced labor with extra steps.
No, it's not. It's not forced labor because, you're paying them. But why are you hiring clowns to do construction work?
No, you're hiring construction workers to dress as clowns.
Yeah, but why?
Why not?
I mean, he has a point. Okay, you guys interested in hearing how his trial went?
Bad.
Yeah, sure. Let's hear it.
Okay. Trial began February 6th, 1980. He confessed to the crimes. The arguments were forced on whether he could be declared insane and thus was remitted to a state mental facility. Fun fact, they're going with the insanity plea. Gacy had told police that the murders had been committed by an alternate personality, while mental health professionals testified for both sides of his mental state. After a short jury deliberation, he was ultimately found guilty of committing 33 crimes, making him the most ruthless serial killer in U.S. history. He served 12 death sentences and 21 natural life sentences.
How can you do that's not physically possible?
Did he survive the 21
don't-
natural life?
Hypothetical
Well, I mean,
question. Hopefully, near future, we figure out immortality, right? Or
Mhm.
the lengthening of lifespans. Do you think that prisoners who have a lot of life sentences, do you think their lives will be extended so they can spend more time in prison? Or do you think they'll just let them die of old age in prison?
Well, here's the thing. People are already arguing that keeping elderly prisoners who possibly have dementia or Alzheimer's locked away, then they don't even remember why they're being locked away, is inhumane. So I don't think they would even consider extending their lives.
Well, yeah, but if extending their lives means keeping them, 40 years old, or 100, 200 years, however long they were convicted from, 18 life sentences or something like that. Do you think they would?
No, because what's the benefit if you're serving 14 life sentences, you're gonna die in prison anyway. So you may as well, what is it? It's obvious,
I guess the question is, why do they give people life sentences if they're going to die in prison? Why not give them the death sentence? I'm saying if they. Okay, so if they're not going to give them the death sentence anyway, why not keep them in prison for as long as possible if you can?
I don't know, because then you're paying it with your tax dollars. Do you really want to be paying your tax dollars to keep people locked away that would have died 50 years ago naturally?
No, of course not, but that's not the question. If they're not actually scheduled to die in prison, then why are you forcing them to die in prison?
I don't know, but I think forcing him to serve out 14 life sentences and then release them so they can die outside of prisons, not a solution either.
Well, okay, so the deal with prisons is they're not actually supposed to be they are supposed to be a little bit of punishment. There's obviously punishment there, but it's supposed to be more of a social reform center for people a lot of the time. Granted, they're not really looked at that way, but that's the general gist of it, is reforming people to have them comply with societal norms and things like that. So do you think that if they had the opportunity to keep someone in prison for a longer time in order to reform them and put them back into society, would they? Or would they just let them die of old age?
I would think it would probably be something like parole, where it's on a case-by-case basis. Because there's some people that don't want to be reformed, don't want to change, and what's the point in keeping them? They're never going to get reformed anyway. But there's some people I think do truly want to be reformed and make whatever amends they can. And I think for that reason, yeah, those people should be given that option.
Fair
Yeah.
How
point.
does it get
Not
Murder.
sure.
What?
Because murder. Anyway, so that's that. Gacy was executed by lethal injection on May 10th, 1994. Fun fact. That's
He didn't even survive till the iPhone.
jeez, what a weeb.
Most.
Noob.
What do
Okay.
you think?
noob?
What do you think would be the most inhumane lethal injection fluid? Because I'm thinking something along the lines of spaghetti sauce or anything that would just cause sepsis.
Dirt. The magic
Mayo.
What's with you and sepsis? You and sepsis.
I'm just saying, that's what would happen. There was a lady who died in a hospital because the nurse accidentally hooked up the feeding tube into the IV line, and then the IV line into the feeding tube. That lady just died of sepsis. That's the thing that happens.
No, like, yeah, no, that does happen, but every time we talk about like people dying, you're always like something that causes sepsis.
Something that causes sepsis.
He is fascinated by sepsis.
I will get sepsis at some point in my life and die from it. Mark words. I'll just be like, oh, hey, I got a cut. I'm gonna go die of sepsis now. All right, so weirdest lethal injection fluids. Go.
Dirt.
Mayo.
Monster Energy. Period.
Hot dog water.
End of story. Monster Energy.
Just water? Are you planning on diluting their blood?
Bang energy.
Hot dog water. Did you
Hot
not hear
dog water. Ew.
Air.
5-hour
Gross.
energies.
Air would just give them the bends and they just die. That would be awful.
Exactly.
Gross.
Straight sodium. Just straight sodium.
soapy
that
water?
That wouldn't kill them. That would blast off their arm.
I mean, the ensuing infection and blood loss may kill them.
That's just called no more arm juice.
Oh my gosh. Just no more arm juice. I'm dead.
We're all dead.
No response.
Time for the lethal injection, and they're like, "All right,
Yes, dear.
we're gonna just inject you with some no more arm juice, but you'll be able to like go back into society." You're on the lethal injection chair. They're like, "Okay, we can give you this lethal injection. You'll die in like 5 minutes, or we reintegrate you into society, but we inject you in both arms with this no more arm juice."
What does the no more arm
I
juice do
can't.
specifically?
It's just pure
No more
sodium,
arm.
so you blast off, and then they patch you up and send you back home.
I still think you wouldn't fit into society very well because
Yeah.
you have 2 missing arms.
No,
Yeah.
you just got injected with no arm juice. You just don't.
Job
Yeah,
could do with no
could,
arm.
you could become a public speaker. You could go into schools and tell kids how not to murder people, or you'll end up with no arms.
You're a prime example of what not to
It does
do.
not our- I mean,
You'll describe in great detail what getting injected with no arm juice is like, so that way people don't want to experience it.
Okay, so here's the thing: is like the liquid that they use in lethal injection is like, I think potassium it's like calcium and potassium and some other stuff that messes up with the electroreceptors. I'm wondering if you could just do like banana milk.
Just Gogurt.
you can't
Inject some straight yogurt.
Right, animals.
Guys, microwavable box mac and cheese spread.
Yes.
All right, I'm walking away for a minute. You guys live.
Cheese whiz.
Cheese whiz.
You've made Amber literally rage quit this episode.
Rage quit the murder episode. I was not expecting that of Amber.
I was not expecting that. And so because of that, I think now's a good time to call this episode to
Hold
a
up.
stop.
Oh
Whippets. Injectable whippets.
no!
No.
We got this is a disaster zone, but that's why it's called the Caution Do Not Open podcast. If you're not subscribed, be sure you hit that subscribe button on your platform, follow whatever that button is, so that you always know when we release a new episode, which is every week on Tuesday. So come hit us up. It's great. Tuesdays, am I right? Anyway, the people in this episode was Amber.
She
Amber's
rage
gone.
quit.
Exactly. She rage quit. So silence. We had Adam.
That's me.
We had Grayson.
Am I right?
We had Jackson.
Whippets.
And we had Joey.
Yo.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Once again, if you aren't subscribed to the podcast on your platform of choice, be sure you smash that button so you always know when we release a new episode on Tuesdays. Thank you guys so much for listening. And as always, we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Sayonara.
Bye. Goodbye.